Even before I tell you what really is the approach 3, let me tell you what is the problem in this second approach. The problem in this second approach is this statement. Yes, the problem in that statement is that you are hard coding the value of the radius. Specifying here as 5.0 is what we technically refer to as hard coding. And you know that it is because of this hard coding that the approach 2 is not a good approach, because whenever you change this, you will have to compile, you will have to execute, and compilation execution is what is actually not the efficient way to do it. Then what should I be doing? Well, all that I have to do is to eliminate this. Well, the moment I eliminate, I am sure many of you would have the doubt, then what really is the value of radius? And without the value of radius, how is it that this formula is going to compute the area? Well, all of your doubts are valid doubts. What I am trying to tell you is that it was this statement which was creating the trouble, and hence I would be eliminating that statement, but then I am going to bring in this statement. Well, I am sure you are aware of the printf, that it is such a statement which is going to display a message to you on the screen, and the message that gets displayed to you during execution is that you should be keying in through the keyboard the value of the radius. In other words, now as a programmer, you are not giving the value of the radius in the program itself. Rather, you would be keying it during execution. Anyway, when we go to the execution phase, you would get to know about it. But then, whatever is the value that you would be keying in, obviously, you have to collect that value from the keyboard, right? And the command to collect the value from the keyboard is this. Yes, scanf is the command. Definitely, we would be speaking more on printf and scanf in the input-output related to C language, and those sessions would be further ahead in the series. But at this point in time, what I want you to understand is that I had this statement. Definitely it was creating a trouble, so I have eliminated that statement and I have brought in these two statements. Out of the two statements, the first statement is going to ask you during execution to key in whatever value of radius you want to key in, and whatever is keyed in is going to be collected from the keyboard and placed inside the variable called radius. Well, I am sure you could also be confused about the %f over there, the ampersand symbol over there. Don't bother too much about the syntax of the language. Try to understand it superficially as to what really is happening, and anyway, when I would take up the format specifier concept, you would get to know about the various format specifiers that are supported by C language. When I would be going into the input-output in C, definitely you would get to know about the various functions which help the C programmer to perform the input and output activities. But all said and done, at this point in time, in my approach 3, if you notice carefully, I have not hard-coded the value of radius. Well, let me ask you this question. Look at this program and tell me, what is the value of radius? You will not be able to tell, right? Well, previously, when the program was like this, you had told me that the radius is 5.0. That is because I had hard-coded it, and you know by now as to what really is the challenge if at all you are going to hard-code it. And that is why I eliminated that, brought in these statements. But then, how is it going to work? How is it going to be more efficient than the approach 2? Let me tell you. In order to notice the benefit of this approach, what I will have to do is to compile and execute it. Well, what you really have to notice when I will compile and execute is that I am going to be compiling it only once. I would be executing it as many number of times I would wish to execute, but I would be compiling it only once. So pay attention. For the first time, when I am going to compile, as normal, we would be getting it as 0 errors and 0 warnings, and then when I would be executing it, as you can notice, there is a message which is printed asking you to enter the radius. Say supposing I enter the radius as 5.0, you know that in your program there is that scanf statement which is waiting to collect whatever you have keyed in here. Well, your 5.0 is going to be collected from the keyboard and placed inside that variable called radius, and then immediately the formula in your program is going to compute the area of, then quickly it has also displayed the result as well. Well, I am sure you are noticing that we have got the right output, but then what really is the benefit of the approach 3? the benefit of the approach 3 is that if in case I want to give my radius as 5.5, if in case I want to give my radius as 100.5, then there is no need for me to again compile the program. In other words, what I mean to say is that I am not going to compile this program again, rather I am directly going to execute the program. And now you can notice upon execution, it is again asking you to key in the radius. And I would this time key in the radius as 5.5, and you know that there is a scanf waiting in your program to collect whatever you have keyed in, and then there is a formula waiting in your program which will compute the area of, and then there is a printf which is anyway going to print the result, and it is that printf which is actually printing you this result. Well, the result definitely is the same as what we had got in the approach 2, but what you have to understand is that I have not compiled the program the second time. I am directly executing it without having to recompile the program, and that is precisely the benefit of approach 3. Anyway, if I would wish to now compute the area of a circle with radius 100.5, then again I think now it is needless for me to say that we need not compile this program. I can directly execute it, and upon execution you are going to get the message, and once you key in as 100.5, obviously you are going to get the right answer. In other words, I am sure by now you've been able to understand that the limitation in the approach 2 was that you had hard coded the value, and definitely as a good programmer you have understood a better approach. An approach in which you would not be hard coding, rather you would be using the input and output commands, that is the printf and scanf commands, to ensure that you are going to compile the program only once, but then you would be executing the program with different values of the radius. I am sure now you've been able to understand as to what really the benefit of the approach 3 is. But all said and done, this happens to be the first approach. This happens to be a second approach which definitely was much better than the first approach, but then this happens to be the third approach which is even better than the second approach. And if you'll ask me, are there any better approaches? Definitely yes. I have told you, right, that the program can be coded as efficiently as possible, and all that it would decide upon is how much knowledgeful you are about the programming language. How much knowledgeful about the general aspects of programming you are would decide the quality of your code. No doubt, all the 3 versions would be giving you the results, but then you know the most efficient version as of now happens to be the approach 3. Anyway, by the end of this video series, you would be able to code this program alone in so many different versions that definitely you would be a master using this programming language. But at this point in time, now that you have realized the benefit of the approach 3, I think it is time to now dive deeper and understand every element present in this program. It is important for you to understand the terms token, understand the term statement, understand various other technical terms that really are important for you to know as a programmer. So rather than giving you the 4th approach, rather than giving you the 5th approach, it is time that we dive deeper into this, dissect the program and try understanding it in greater detail. No doubt now you are interested to hear from me as to what really are the various elements present in the program. But even before I dissect this for you, let me tell you that writing a program is like actually writing a storybook. Yes, if I will have to equate a programmer with the author, I'm sure you would be able to understand what I want to communicate better. What I really mean to say is that if you would wish to be an author and if you would wish to pen down a textbook, obviously you cannot suddenly one fine day take a pen and paper and start writing a book, right? It needs a lot of preparation after all. You know that you will have to be learning the alphabets first of all. Well, that is what you have done during your kindergarten age, wherein you were all taught the alphabets. Well, those days maybe you didn't know as to why really you were learning the alphabets, but then you were just learning the alphabets. And then gradually, as you started to grow older, you were taught how to mix those alphabets and create meaningful words, how to mix those words and create meaningful sentences, how to mix those sentences and create meaningful paragraphs. and then maybe how to mix those paragraphs and create a wonderful story. That is when you would possibly be considered as an author, right? In other words, becoming an author, becoming a programmer, they both mean the same. Well, if I will have to narrate to you the same story with respect to becoming a programmer, then all that I can be telling you is that the alphabets of the English language, which you would have previously learnt during your kindergarten age, definitely in programming, we refer to them as the symbols of the programming language. Yes, the symbols of the programming language, no doubt, is going to be including the English alphabets, but then there would be a lot of other symbols as well. Definitely, you would get to know about all of the symbols. But then you should also learn the art of combining these symbols and creating tokens. Well, after all, in your school days, didn't you combine the alphabets and create meaningful English words? Similarly here, you will have to be combining the symbols of the programming language and then creating meaningful tokens. Obviously, there are certain rules to creating tokens. In fact, there are different types of tokens. We would be dealing with all of that in greater depth, but then definitely you should also learn the art of accumulating these tokens and arranging them in a manner where you will actually create a meaningful statement. Well, don't you think that during your school days, you actually gathered the words and created meaningful statements? We called those statements as sentences. The same thing here is what we refer to as the statement. And then we need to learn as to how these statements can be put together to create functions. And then obviously how these functions can be put together and create a wonderful program. This program is what we also technically refer to as an application. In short, we refer to as an app. Well, be it the program, be it the application, be it the app, or whether you call it the software, whatever you call it as, what you really have to understand is that if you want to be a successful programmer, then you should start your journey from learning the symbols of that programming language, and then understanding how tokens are created, and then how sentences are created, or rather the statements are created, and then how really functions and then the actual program or the application is created. In other words, what I want you to understand is that in this program, all of these elements, we refer to them as the symbols. Yes, after all, you can see these symbols is what is actually making up the programs, right? But then if you'll ask me, what are the tokens in this program? Well, all of these is what we refer to as the tokens. And let me tell you that tokens are the meaningful combination of the symbols. In fact, we say that the tokens happen to be the building block of a program. Don't you think all these tokens is what put together is actually creating the program? Well, some of you might argue that why not we say that symbols are the building blocks of the program? Well, if you want to say it that way, you can, but then the world over, it is broadly accepted that a program's basic building blocks happen to be tokens. Definitely, there are a lot of tokens. No doubt, you have combined the tokens, and these happen to be the statements in your program. No doubt, you have collected all of these statements and created a function, and that function is what we call as the main function. Of course, when you start writing some serious programs using C language, you would realize that your program would not just have one function. There would be multiple functions in the program. After all, in the general structure of the C program, you can notice that Dennis Ritchie is telling that one function should compulsorily be present, and that is the main function. But then you can notice that also there can be any number of user-defined functions. Anyway, at this point in time, what you have been able to understand is that in your program, you have successfully combined the statements and created one function, which is the main function. And of course, many such functions is what creates the program. But at this point in time, this one function alone is present in your program. But then you have, after all, created the program. And obviously, I am sure now you are understanding as to how you can gradually groom yourself to becoming a programmer. Well, I should say this to you that programming is an art. It doesn't definitely come overnight. The more you practice, the better you would be in the art. Well, it is again similar to you becoming an author, that overnight you cannot become an author, right? It is an art which definitely you have to nurture, you have to give time, and definitely if you are putting in that kind of energy, dedication, discipline and devotion into it, it is definitely going to be a case wherein you will emerge as a wonderful author, and in this case you would emerge as a wonderful programmer. And let me tell you, this video series is going to ensure that you have all that is needed to transform yourself to becoming a better programmer in C language. Definitely, if you would watch my video series on programming, it would take you to the next level in programming, wherein you would definitely feel a lot confident about programming, and if at all you have any fear about programming, all of that would be shattered, and you would get to know as to how really you can program using any programming language. But at this point in time, I am sure you've been able to understand that all of these is what we call as the symbols present in the program. These happen to be the tokens present in the program. These are the statements. This is the function, and all put together, this is what we call as the program. Anyway, now let me proceed and speak more about each of these elements.